Taking you around the world of live sports video production, it's SVG's SportsTech On Demand video interview series. I'm Brandon Costa from SVG. Have the distinct pleasure now to be joined by a good friend of SVG. He's Neal Matersky. He is sales and business manager for the U.S. for the company AVIWEST. Neal, wonderful to see you. How's you and everyone at the company doing right now?
Doing great. Thanks for having us, Brandon. I really appreciate the chance to talk to you.
Yeah. Well, wonderful to talk to you. Hopefully sometime it's in person very soon, but for now, this will work. I want to talk to you about some of the big issues that are facing the live sports video production community right now. Perhaps most chiefly is the current state of remote production, REMI at home, home run, whatever you want to call it. How is AVIWEST working in helping deal with that challenging environment that maybe, believe it or not, maybe people have gotten a whole heck of a lot more comfortable with over the last 12 to 13 months?
They have, and it's really been the impetus. I mean, the last year and a half, COVID, has been the impetus to drive people over the edge. But it's something that we were doing beforehand. In the U.S., where we really cut our teeth has been doing REMI production. First for live reality TV, which it was interesting. Once they implemented or in the process of implementing the concept, it was realized, hey, we're doing the same. This is like a live sporting event, right? For live reality shows. And we've also been doing it in the live streaming world with, believe it or not, fishing events. Nice. Very demanding environment. And so we were doing it beforehand, and people were starting to do it beforehand. But obviously, the last year and a half was the real impetus. And we were able to jump in for a golf event early on and did, I believe it was the first live golf event post-COVID, once after COVID started, and it was complete REMI. But most of those, starting out were, deploying camera crews and acquiring the signals, but not as much control, right? And now one of the big things that's really starting to open up is taking it to the next level with a lot more, creating data links, between the studio and the field that enable you to, start painting cameras and using audio IP apps or IP audio apps, in the field, things like that. And it's just accelerating. Plus, I think a lot of people that were forced to do it realized, hey, this works, because we actually have a number of applications outside of the sports world that were just really interesting that you wouldn't have necessarily thought of. But again, because, to get around the current abnormal, those were implemented. But in the sports world, the base has been growing. We've been doing it, as I said, for a number of years. And now we're really prepared and excited about the opportunity and where this is going to go.
Getting out of that sports bubble is a good thing. You can just take inspiration from anywhere these days, which we probably need to do a lot of that over the last year. Another area where sports is really venturing out into the next generation on is 5G. How do you see 5G impacting the sports market, and in what ways are you guys getting involved?
We're very involved. In fact, we're already delivering some 5G units. 5G is going to be interesting. It's segmented. In the long term, 5G, I feel, is going to be one of the game changers to really allow the highest, most demanding level of deployment for the sports world. What I mean by that is the initial deployments are all sub-6 band. It's one flavor, the initial flavor, which gives, additional lower latencies and additional bandwidth capabilities, which will certainly help. Right? Help across the board, combined with remote control and, so people will have more control, be able to get signals back in a more stable, reliable environment. But the real game changer for 5G for sports is going to be the deployment of millimeter wave, which is a little bit further down the road for the carriers, but that's effectively in a hotspot environment. So they can light up a stadium. And we've done testing already on these networks where with 2 connections, you're rocking and rolling. You can do UHD. You're 100 meg bandwidth, you can get 100 meg off 2 connections in that type of deployment. And that combined with deploying it in what they call an edge deployment. So everything in the cloud is like close to each other, right? Rather than, part of it being in San Francisco, part of it being in New York, bringing the latencies down to like 200 milliseconds or less where, you can really look at doing, a live NFL game or a premier event with that level of latency and performance where it's almost the same as fiber.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Yes. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, fascinating stuff coming up. Before we let you go, Neal, real quick, anything new or coming soon that we should be keeping an eye out for?
Yeah,
from
besides
AVIWEST?
5G, we've rolled out, we've already rolled out, 5G. We're working on additional antennas, that sort of thing, to even maximize that performance. Very soon, our 4 series is coming out, which will be UHD, multi HD, added capabilities, of course, including 5G. And then followed by that, where we're really trying to go, no product names yet, is an interoperable IP ecosystem where you can create, acquire, process, and distribute streams of any flavor, whether it's SRT or SRT. I'm sorry, our proprietary SST, interoperability between signals. So almost an IP sub router in somebody's infrastructure as they move to larger IP infrastructure.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, look, definitely keep an eye out for that, Neal. In the meantime, we really appreciate you taking the time, and we appreciate all the work that AVIWEST is doing to help keep the live sports video production community afloat. Thanks so much for taking the time today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brandon.
All right. He's Neal Matersky. He is sales and business manager in the U.S. for AVIWEST. To learn more about them and watch more of the SVG SportsTech On Demand series, you can do all that right now over at sportsvideo.org.